very first thing that I want to go ahead and do is get some context, right? Before we go ahead and start and insinuate this call. So, if you're brand new inside of these trainings, we actually do these trainings once in a while. I would say I would call it more so spontaneous trainings. Things that we see here within the community, things that are needed. And here within the community, we specialize within CFD trading, futures trading, options trading, and many other things. But we always like to change the narrative, change the subject each and every single month, just to give you guys another more things to go ahead and learn. And on today's call, we're going to go ahead and teach you guys something that we don't really talk about, right? So go ahead and type a one if you guys are CFD traders, if you guys are used to trading CFDs, and go ahead and type a two if you guys are futures traders, and type a three for me if you're brand new into trading, like super brand new into everything. So ones, we got some CFD traders inside the call. We got some futures traders, and we also have some new traders inside the call. So we got a little bit of everything on today's call. Awesome. Awesome. So on today's training that we have for each and every single one of you, we went ahead and brought out one of the best to go ahead and educate you guys on today's subject. Now, for those of you that typed a one and two, type a one if you've ever been introduced to options trading. Let's see how many options traders we have here. We got one, two, two, three. Okay. Four. Okay, awesome. So we have, I would probably say about like 10%, good rough 10-15% of this call has been already introduced to options trading. Right now, on today's call, since the vast majority of you are either brand new into trading or getting or barely starting into it or already doing CFDs or you're doing futures, on today's specific trading, you guys are going to learn everything when it comes down to options from the get-go, right? And you guys are going to learn from none other but a world-renowned educator, somebody that's also a friend of mine, somebody that was also one of the people that put me on to all this back whenever I insinuated and started within my journey. And you guys have the pleasure to go ahead and learn from him today. But before he goes ahead and starts, I'm going to ask you guys for two favors. Number one, I need you guys to go ahead and pay your full divided attention to this guy right here, because I promise you, you guys are going to have a lot of clicking moments within this call. I was talking with him. I'm actually here at his apartment right now as we're speaking, and he's literally been excited about this call the whole entire day, because he knows the value that he's going to provide you guys here within today's call. Now, secondly, what I do go ahead and need from each and every single one of you is I need everybody to go ahead and have something to write down notes with, because as we know, you're not going to remember the vast majority of the information if you're just listening to it, right? So go ahead and type a one in the chat once you guys have something ready to go ahead and take down notes with, whether that's a pen, paper, whether that's, your phone, whatever it may be. But I'm not going to go ahead and start until we have many ones inside the chat. Awesome. Awesome. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring up the legend himself, Mr. Mike Sotero, bro. Can you go ahead and hear me?
Yes, sir. How we doing? Welcome everybody to tonight's call. Drop some twos in the chat if you can hear me, see me. Junior is literally in the other room. So, Junior, please turn the audio off. Thanks, bro. Well, first off, excited. For those that haven't gotten a chance to meet, my name is Mike Sotero. Online, they call me DeFi Mike, and I just been in this game a long time. I've been investing in the markets since 2017 in crypto. I got into stocks about 4 or 5 years ago, got into options about 2 years ago, started taking options much more seriously this year. And tonight we're going to have a conversation. And I'm going to really share with you why I think right now is the time to be in the markets, but most importantly, doing what we're teaching. And I know it's not for everybody. I know some of you are already, in the community, you're already involved, but here's the wake up call for a lot of people. Okay, especially if you're a guest on tonight's call. This is the purchasing power of your dollars. Put a one in the chat if you have a bank account. One in the chat if you have a bank account and you actively leave some money there, right? You got some money in that bank account. Well, ever since the 1930s, all that paper has done is just gone down in value. And if it's only going down in value, what solutions do you have? Well, I remember hearing about this guy when I was, 15, 16, 17. How many of you have ever heard of this guy, or a little bit older? His name's Warren Buffett. Let me know in the chat if you've heard of Uncle Warren, and he's the greatest investor of all time. His company has hundreds of billions of dollars. He's 95 years old. He's worth $150 billion, and he started like most people, dirt, broke, and poor, but he invested. Okay. Now, keep his image in mind because we're going to come back to that. Now, you might be saying, well, why should I be investing or why should I be trading? And I'm going to go through this fast, but here's the average sales prices of houses in the US. I think majority of the call tonight is in the US. Yeah. House prices are only going up. What is this called? Who can tell me in the chat what this is called? It starts with an I. Starts with an I. Okay. 1980s, you could buy a house in America for 77 grand. 2010, you could buy a house for a quarter million. Now, average price is above 500,000. Now, you know what's really cool? Goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down, goes up. What are house prices doing right now on the average side in some markets in America? They're coming down. But yeah, this is what we call inflation. And if you can't beat inflation, you're in a lot of trouble. And tonight we'll talk about, options and how to create cash flow and trading and the platform and all this stuff. But everything's going up in value, right? Now, here's some good news. The median personal income, so this is how much people are average, minimum making in the US. We're just using US numbers. Guess what? It's going up. And today it sits at $45,000. In the chat, do you believe you could survive on $45,000? A year, not a month. You could survive off the month one, but you can't survive off the year one. There's no chance, in my opinion, and this is just what I believe. So I think there has to be another way. Now, remember that guy Warren that we just talked about? Right now, for the first time in years, he is starting to buy assets. What are assets? Stocks, certain stocks, cryptos, right? Real estate could be an asset. There's all these different ways, but take a look at this. This is actually Warren Buffett's portfolio. I like that. Survive? Yeah. Comfortably? No. Exactly. This is actually Warren Buffett's portfolio. You can go to dataroma.com. And what a lot of people are not paying attention to is the moves that he makes. There's been a lot of fear around a recession, right? Put a 2 in the chat if you've heard the word recession. We're in a recession. We're going into a recession, right? The media, the news, the people like Robert Kiyosaki, they'll try to convince you that we're in a recession now, when I believe in reality we left a recession. I believe this decade started with the recession. Pandemic, COVID, 2022, banks falling apart, crypto exchanges falling apart. And there's been a lot of fear, but guess what? Uncle Warren is here. This past week, he's buying billions of dollars for the first time in a long time of Google, and he's reducing and selling Chevron. Why is he selling Chevron? And I explained this on one of my live sessions today. And if you're one of our students, you kind of saw a little bit of that. But if he's selling Chevron, Chevron is what? Gas, oil company, right? Does he believe oil will be more or less expensive in the next 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 years? Well, I think he thinks it's going to be less. Well, hold on. We're dealing with inflation right now because of oil prices being high, right? Put a 3 in the chat if you have seen your gas prices go up in the past 1 to 2 years. Yeah, we were promised no wars and cheap gas, and we got the opposite of both. Guess what? It's why you don't buy into the media and all that stuff, right? As a trader and as an investor, you have to see things like this. Now, Warren's back in the game. Warren's investing, he's worth hundreds of billions, but are you? Well, I would not be on this call if I was worth hundreds of billions. But what I will tell you is most people don't know where to go and they don't know what to invest in. $6 in gas in California is actually insane. I feel like that's on the cheap side because I remember being there earlier this year and I saw $7, $8 and I almost had a heart attack. That was insane. Yeah, that's just wild. Okay, that's like a Chipotle bowl every time you fill up your car. So, anyways, what were you doing 6 years ago? Because one of the asset classes that I teach people about is crypto. I've been in crypto for almost 10 years. January will be 10 years. And 6 years ago today, when the decade started with a crash, Bitcoin was at 11,000. Ethereum was at 300. Where are they at today, Mike? Well, one Bitcoin's worth 63,000, one Ethereum's worth 1,800. Bitcoin's up 600% in the past 6 years. And maybe you have a negative friend or family member that says it's a scam and it's not going to work, right? How many of you have somebody in your family that don't believe in trading? They don't believe in investing. They don't believe in what we're talking about here tonight. And that's okay. What's that song say? Don't believe me, just watch. If you don't do this, or if you don't learn, or if you don't be a part of what we're doing in our community and what we teach, that's okay. That's all right. Because there's a bill that everybody has to pay. Eat really, really bad for really, really long periods of time. What's the bill? Medical bills. Invest smart, invest wisely, invest long term, take action short term. What's the bill you pay? You buy your time back with that money. And that's what people don't understand is that crypto is a vehicle, stocks is a vehicle. I hope you stay to the end because I'm going to do a training that nobody's seen before here in the next couple of minutes. But I just wanted to start off today's call and let you know that it's the best time, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look at this. This is what we call global liquidity. All of the money in the world is what? It's physical, right? Most of the money in the world is physical. They print money, but if you print money, you go to jail. If we start printing money together, we're going to prison, right? But if they do it, it's okay. That's called a central bank. And if you're taking notes here, these central banks, they can do whatever they want. They can raise the rate, lower the rate, they can print some more, they can take some money out. But I want you to see something here, especially when it comes to Bitcoin and crypto, and then we're going to get into some of the stock conversation here today, is look at this. Since 2020, or in 2020, there was $73 trillion in the world, Junior, of money. Today, there's over $107 trillion in the chat. What does that mean that these governments have been doing? What does that mean? They've been doing what? Have they been taking money out of the supply or putting more money in the supply? In or out in the chat? They've been putting money in the supply. Okay, super common, a common question I always ask somebody because that doesn't understand the markets. Everybody can understand what I'm about to say. If there's more of something, is it worth less or more? Less or more? Which one? If there's more of something, it's worth less. Okay. So if there's more dollars, this happens. If there's less dollars, the opposite. Well, that's not going to happen. But what if I told you one asset that you can pay attention to that we teach here is Bitcoin? Well, why would I pay attention to Bitcoin, Mike? Because there's only going to be a certain amount. And then we'll get to a point where there's no more in circulation in the next 100 years. Let's all try to make that our goal. Be here when Bitcoin hits 21 million in supply. But here's the point. Watch this. Let me zoom in for you. I need you to see this. Supply is going up. More money's coming into the market, but has Bitcoin made the move higher? Every time there's a global liquidity that gets injected, think of it like an injection, right? Liquidity goes up. When Bitcoin goes sideways or down, it's just a matter of time before the liquidity finds its way into Bitcoin. Give me a one if that makes sense in the chat. Bitcoin's going down, liquidity's going up. That's called Stop messing around and pay close attention. I did a call like this when Bitcoin was at 4 or 5,000 bucks and people getting on the call and they're scrolling on Instagram and then the same people when Bitcoin's at 120,000 asking me in my DMs, "Hey, can you help? Do I buy?" No, you don't buy. Blocked them and reported them. Just kidding. That's just a joke. No, we helped them. That's just a kid. That's just a joke. Um, but there's money and eventually it's going to flow here. Let me show you one more chart here. Okay. This is what we call Bitcoin, or we're going to look at it on Bitcoin, but something called power law. And this is based off of really time. So super simple. The blue line, I'm going to zoom in for you. Blue line at the bottom, it represents the floor. The orange represents where price should be based on time and in the future. And then the red is like the ceiling. And we can see here around the ceiling, down, around the ceiling, down, around the ceiling, down. Didn't quite make it there and didn't quite make it there here. Same thing, floor, around the floor, up, around the floor, up. Where are we at today? This is all that matters. Where are we at today? In the chat. This isn't that difficult. Everybody's like, oh my God, it's going to go lower. Oh my God, I can't buy Bitcoin. Oh my God, I can't learn how to invest. Of course you can. It's always a choice. Like I just decided at 18 years old, I was not going to work for somebody else and I was going to figure this stuff out. Yeah, it's at the floor. So what should you do when it's at the floor? You should probably pay close attention. And you know what's really good? Is that you don't have to know it all. If you can say, hey, I don't know it all, but maybe I can learn from some people. That's what we teach here. And I'm going to break down this training for you, but I just want everybody to understand if you're a guest, this is what you get access to in our community. Okay. It's called Zenrai Live. Guess what? Here's what's really cool is we do this. We have a team that does this. How many of you guys have been on one of our sessions? Just let me know in the chat. You've been on one of Patrick's sessions, my sessions, one of our Jordan sessions, one of our educator sessions. Like people will pay for Netflix and Netflix will literally steal years of their life. But people won't pay for access to people. Okay, maybe you don't believe me here right now. You'll believe me hopefully in the next few minutes. So this is where you learn, right? This is like YouTube. This is like Netflix. You come in here and you can watch our sessions. So I teach multiple times a week. Okay, people pay a couple dollars a day. Me and Junior were just talking about this. People pay a couple dollars a day and they get access, right? This was the session earlier. We're not going to watch the whole thing or even watch it, but you get access to the sessions. You get access to the Zenrai Lives. You know what's really cool? And then I'm going to share with you a training to really open up your eyes as we give you the tools. You know what's funny, Junior? Is I love when people are like, man, I'm not making money in the markets. And I'm like, okay, how many Zenrai ideas have you taken in the past 90 days? Because this is the best app performance. And I think next month we're going to be able to show the world that publicly. This is the best app performance I've ever been a part of. And I was a part of another company that had 400,000 customers where I would send an idea and it would hit all their phones at the same time. Pretty cool. This company in the past year is doing something special. It's doing something that we've never seen from a performance standpoint. So let me give you an example. What I tell people is everybody should be investing. So what do you invest in? You invest in crypto, you invest in stocks. And then if you choose to, you can trade. Now, I don't think trading's for everybody, but I'm just going to give you an example here. I trade and I send out ideas on crypto. Okay? I like trading crypto because I can literally take one idea a week, sometimes two ideas a month, and I'm happy. You don't got to be actively trading, right? So for example, did anybody take this idea? Okay, like let's look at this just for all the skeptical people watching this and watching the replay. We sent out this idea to sell at 1895 to 1941. Entry 1, entry 2. We hit entry 2, and now we're dropping. Well, Mike, did you even take the trade? Yes, I actually take the trade. This is actually a brand new account because I'm testing this platform, and I'm not going to get into all that details. But yeah, we are shorting Ethereum, which means Ethereum is going down. This asset is going down, and you have the potential to make money. How cool is that? Put a 1 in the chat if that made sense. we send you these ideas. But tonight, what we want to talk about, and I hope you're that was kind of the pre-context to this, especially we have some guests on tonight's call, is when you're a part of the community, you get access to these tools. But most importantly, you get access to people. And the reality is it should cost a lot more to get access to our educators. That's just the truth. And one of the things that's become a very, very, I don't want to say a hot topic because this is something that people have been playing at a crazy level, but something that this industry, that industry that we're in, has never seen is a game. It's a game called stocks, and it's a second word called options. And tonight I'm going to share with you a couple thoughts to really get you thinking. And I'm going to share something that I just kind of created here a few minutes ago. Let me find the Zoom. And you can take some notes. Okay. And it's something that I teach, Patrick teaches, and it's something that you're going to be able to learn more about on our sessions. Okay. Put the word ready in the chat if you're ready. I'm going to go through a couple of these slides and I'm going to show you actually my account in the next few minutes and how you can follow along my account, Patrick's account, because we're doing it live on stream with regulated brokers. Okay. There is no demo account. There's no faking it. We're going to refresh. Okay. So it's a concept or it's a strategy called the wheel method. Now there's just really two words that you need to know. Okay. There's two types of contracts, calls and puts. The call, think of a call, the right to buy something, and think of put, the right to sell something. Okay. Now, these words are really important. Okay. And I'm going to go through this slowly. Strike. It's the number that you agree really to buy or sell something. Number two is premium. It's the cash. It's a cool word. The cash or the premium that you're paid upfront for selling the option. And then number three, very important. This is why people lose money in options. Is the expiration. It's when the contract ends. So if you go into a contract for anything, right? You're getting contracted to perform a service or to work for a company, right? There's probably a start and end date. Same thing here. Okay. Now, what we teach people is this method, and I'm just going to kind of fast forward here to this, where what if I told you, you could say, hey, I want to buy this stock in the future at a lower price. And for agreeing to buy that stock at that price, you're going to get paid upfront. Put a 1 in the chat if you think that's cool. If you're a trader or an investor, think of it like a buy limit. You getting paid today to set a buy limit for the future. And if the buy limit doesn't hit, you keep the money. Now, if the buy limit does hit, let's talk about the quote unquote negative. What do you have to do? You have to buy, and I'm going to give you guys like 5 examples, so don't worry. You have to buy 100 shares of that stock. So let's say you're forced to buy 100 shares. Let's say it's Snapchat. $5 a share, 100 shares. You got to have $500 to do that. But here's what's cool is you got paid up front. And then if you get the shares, you're going to do what we call selling a call. Step 3 here, you're going to sell a call. What does that mean? It's an agreement that you're willing to sell your shares. So that's the opposite. You're willing to sell your shares at a higher price. You got paid up front to get in. Before you got in, got paid to get rid of your shares, and then we do this again. And you repeat this. And this is how we're going to show you to create some cash flow in this space. Now, I'm not going to lie. If you got $50 or $100 or $500, this is not going to work. You need thousands of dollars to do this. I would say minimum $1,000 to $2,000 in your account in a regulated US broker. But you know what's cool? Is I love when people think, well, Mike, okay, I don't have 2, 3, 4,000, or maybe I do. You can use trading to create some income. What do you do with the income? Do you spend it at Louis Vuitton and try to look rich instead of having assets? Do you portray a lifestyle that you're not living? Or Do you say, okay, I'm going to take what I'm making trading and I'm going to reinvest it? Put a 3 in the chat if you understand that reinvesting over and over and over again is the only way. It's the only option for me. Love to have fun, love experiences, but you make money. And I've seen this. People make money. They get sometimes it's luck, sometimes it's skill. I've seen people make millions of dollars, and in 6 months from that peak, it's all gone. And it's like, what happened? They didn't have a plan. They didn't have community. They didn't have organization. They didn't have maybe the wheel. Okay. I want to share this one more time. And then I'm going to actually show you so it makes sense. And then we're gonna keep it simple here today. And if you're in the US, I'll show it to you on Robinhood so you can kind of follow along. But it's 4 steps. Take a picture of this. So we sell a put. I like this stock. I want to own it at a certain number, and I get paid up front for securing that put, for that cash secured put. So I collect the money. If it doesn't happen and it expires, keep the money, do it again. If I have to buy the shares, I buy the shares, I sell a covered call, the shares get taken away, somebody else takes them. I sell the shares to somebody else, I get paid again to do that. You know what's funny is I was told I needed to have 7 streams of income. I don't think that's true. I think you need to have 1 or 2 solid streams, and then you need to learn stuff like this. Because I can take 1 trade on Ethereum this month. I can do this a couple of times, and with the right account size, things can get really, really, really cool. But we were told a lie. 7 in the chat if you've heard that. Is it just me? I live in Miami. Is it just people in Miami that think you have to have 7 streams of income? Or were you told the same thing in wherever you live, California, Nashville, wherever you live? We were all told the same story. I've been to 41 countries. I remember being in Colombia and people were told the same thing. Get a job, and it's the same story, just in a different language. So let me actually show you how this works. Okay. So I'm going to actually pull up my own account. And actually what's funny is I just started this account, and I'm going to fully transparently show you this on tonight's training. So let's go in here so you guys can see, because the purpose of this account is actually specifically for my live sessions, for our live room. So you can see here on July 29th, I moved $1,000 in here. It was my first time really using Robinhood, so I wanted to see the platform. And then I realized, okay, I'm going to do it here. So on August 7th, I added the other 9. And then we started really last week, okay, at a balance of 10. Now, Mike, what are you doing? We're doing the wheel method. So let's actually break this down. These are all active trades that I'm in, and a lot of these we've given out on the live room. So let's explain the first one. Okay, put a 1 in the chat if you're still with me here. So if you're in the US, this is Robinhood, and I'm going to break this down. Okay, so I'm going to explain first the trade that I'm in, and then how people execute trades. So first, let's go down here and right over here. So this is a contract. Think of it like a contractual agreement. Now, when does this contract expire? And tonight we're giving you the inside look of what we teach on the platform. When does this contract expire? It says it right here. It expires not this Friday, next Friday. Now, where it says 22 cents times it by 100. So I got paid $22. Okay, now what did I do? I sold a put on this stock at $12. So what did I agree to? I agreed that if this stock hits $12, I'm going to buy how many shares? Who's paying attention? 100 shares. Now, you know what's really cool, everybody, is I wanted to buy the 100 shares. I was waiting to buy the 100 shares. Now, how much money did I have to have in my account to do that trade, to execute that? What's 100 times 12? $1,200. Now, here's what's crazy, is we executed the trade over here. It never came back and hit 12, and this is going to expire next Friday. I executed this on 8/4. I executed this 6 days ago. If you kind of do the math and you did this annualized, this is like a 20, what is it, like a 25 or 30% annualized return, maybe more. I'm just trying to do it in my head real fast. How much money is your bank paying you? That same 1,200 in my bank account would be 1,200. Oh, actually, no, it'd be worth less because of this. Remember, it's going down in value. The purchasing power and inflation is making it worse. Okay, let me explain. Let me go through another one here with you. So that's probably going to expire and I'm going to be good. Now I'm going to give you one that I'm actually hoping hits. Okay? When does this contract expire? August 21st. This is on a stock called Mara, Mara, at $9. I'm agreeing, Janice, Jalen, Yamila, Garrett, I'm agreeing to buy 100 shares at $9. And for making that agreement, they paid me $24 upfront. If it hits $9, I buy the shares at my price, at my number. And then you know what I do? Is I'm going to get paid upfront to get rid of them at $10 or $11 or in the future. If it doesn't hit 9, I keep the $24. I do it again. Then I do it again. And then I do it again. Now, this is not a win-win. There's risk. Okay, what's the risk? It hits 9 and it goes lower. But this is a stock that I already want, a stock that I already own in my other portfolio. This is an account that I show for Zenrai Live. Let me give you one more example so you guys can really see this, okay? And this is one that I actually executed today. I did not show this on my live room today, so I'm going to give this one to you. So this is on a nuclear energy company called SMR. I am agreeing to buy this at $8. So how much money do I have to have in my account? 100 times 8, 800 bucks. I got paid today up front. You can see I executed this today. How many people are going to show you a regulated account on a call? Most people can't do that. Most people won't do that, and they can't do it because they don't have it. I sold this today. I got paid upfront $20 for making this agreement for this stock right here. Let me show it to you. Okay, even if you don't know what I'm looking at or you don't know what you're looking at, it's okay. I got paid upfront to say if SMR, if this stock comes down here, I buy it at my number. I don't do this on stocks that I don't want to own. I only do this on things that I want to own. Give me a 2 in the chat if you're with me. Okay? So I had 800 for this trade. I got paid $20 up front. The cash is available right away. And we rinse and repeat. Now, if I'm on Robinhood, okay, so I'm going to actually go to the home screen and kind of show you. Let's say this is a live session right now. We're actually in a live room. You're on our session on Zenrai Live, whether it's Patrick or me, and we're like, okay, we like this stock called Webull. We would go to Webull. Watch this, okay? You're going to go over here to the bottom right, and you're going to click Trade Options. Now, what are we doing? We're selling a put. Can everybody click 2 buttons? Then we are going to choose when the contract expires. Now, the market's closed, so these numbers are going to be a little bit off and different. But let's just say we are going to take this contract and we're going to sell a put. We're going to become the insurance company, okay? When other people buy insurance, what is a put? A put is somebody else is buying a put, betting that the market is going to go where? Down or up? Who was paying attention? If somebody buys a put, they're betting the market is going to go what? Down. We are the insurance company. They're the insurance. They're just buying the insurance. But they have to have a buyer. Excuse me, they have to have somebody that's selling insurance. That's us. When you understand this, it's a lot of fun. So we're going to sell the put. It's going to expire, let's just say on August 28th, just for today's call. And let's say Webull is trading right now at 727, and we're going to agree to sell the put at 7. Okay, so we're okay with buying 100 shares at 7, and then we're going to get paid somewhere between $33 and $38. So all I would do is I would click one contract. I would get this number in my account right away that I can trade. I would review the order, and I'm not going to submit this because the market's closed. And you can see here, this is what I need to have in my account. I'm going to earn this up front right away. And if it doesn't hit, I keep the premium. This is called the premium, the credit. If it does hit, I buy my shares. Now you're saying, well, what do I do if I have to buy the shares? Well, first off, your broker is going to execute it. You're going to buy the shares. And then you know what we're going to do? Instead of selling a put, we're going to now sell a call. And we're going to get paid another, let's just say it's upfront. Let's just click on it's the numbers are going to be up. Let's just say it's this one. I'm going to get paid another $32 to agree that I'm willing to sell my shares at a number that I determine. And that's the wheel. And we do this over and over and over again. And you know what's really cool is one of our educators, Patrick Kenny, that you'll be able to learn from. I can't remember the exact number, but I know he had a number. I think he started with like 40, 45,000 in the account, took it way above 50, withdrew, and he just has that base balance. I'm going to be doing the same exact thing. Profits, of course, are not guaranteed. We're not telling anybody here you're going to get started and make a ton of money or any money at all. There's a risk involved in trading, and speak to a financial advisor because I'm not your financial advisor. But I believe right now is a great time to learn. And you can do this with one contract at a time. You don't have to take all these trades, but it could be one out of time. Okay? That's what we're teaching here. We're teaching what I wish somebody taught me for $5, $6, $7, $8 a day. And you have access to everything that we're doing here in the platform, whether it's long-term investing, shorter-term trading, or the wheel method. You can learn this here. Okay? Give me a 1 in the chat if you want to do one more example. And I'll actually do this from scratch. Okay? So let's just pretend that that right now we're in a live room. This is a live session that you pay for in the company. And tomorrow I'm doing one at 4 p.m. EST, so you can be on that session. And let's just say I'm looking at all these different stocks. Actually, you know what? Give me a stock in the chat. Somebody tell me in the chat. Can you do a bullish example? So we're not buying calls. So we can do that in the option space, but the wheel method in creating cash flow, we're not buying calls. So let's do Paramount. I'll do Paramount and Snapchat for you. So let's look at Snapchat because Snapchat is printing for us right now. I got paid 180 last week and 108 this week to agree to sell my shares at $6, and it never hit and it expired, and I'm now doing it again. So let's say this is Snapchat. I'll give you 2 examples because why not? Where would you want to buy Snapchat? So the all-time high is like, whatever. It's all the way over there. But where would you want to buy this? Let's go clean chart. Would you agree to buy 100 shares at, let's say, $5 or at, let's say, $4.50? Now, you're going to get paid more for that $5 because it's a higher probability. You're going to get paid less for this one. So let's say you're okay with buying, Austin, 500 at $5. So you would have to have $500 in your account. Once again, we're going to go top here. We're going to type in the stock, Snapchat. Bottom right, we're going to go trade snap options. Now, what are we doing, everybody? We're not buying calls. When you buy a call, you're betting that it's going to go up. We do that, and we do talk about that on the streams, but that's not how we're going to create cash flow. What we're going to do is we're going to sell a put. and market's closed, but let's just give you an example here. So let's actually do like 39 days out. Okay. So we're going to sell a put at, let's say, $5. So I would click this, and right now, let's say the market was open. I'm agreeing to buy 100 shares of Snapchat at $5, which means Snapchat has to go down 10%. And there's a 72 chance of profit. And now my break even price is 482. It gives it to you. It literally tells you that's your new break even price. Everything above 482, you're in profit. Why? Because you're getting paid upfront in premium. The moment I click review order, and if I execute this trade, I'm now going to be agreeing. I got to have $500 in the account. If it hits five, I get the 20 now. If it hits five, I buy the shares. And now what we're going to do is we're going to sell calls, and we're going to do it over and over and over again. Okay. Last example, and then I'll pass it back to Junior to close out the call. I hope to see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. It's going to be a lot of fun in the live room. Okay. So this is on Paramount. Now, somebody in the chat that, you tell me, somebody that's been trading, what price would you like to buy Paramount? Now, it can't be so far away because there's not going to be any demand for it. But where would you like to buy Paramount? Right now, it's trading at 9, and it looks very bullish. Well, let's take a look. And obviously, we have tools and stuff that help you do this. But we're going to go PSKY. We're going to sell, put. And let's do this one just a little bit more further out. Okay. See how there's no, and the market's closed, but there's really no, like, there's no offers here. Nobody's buying because it's bullish. This is a great sign if you're holding shares and equity of Paramount. So I'll give you another one because Paramount's bullish and it's probably about a rip. Webull. And this is a quote unquote cheaper stock. So we typed Webull, bottom right options. Here's the last one. Stick with me here. We're going to sell puts, and let's do this one, September 18th expiration date. There's no, this is bullish too. There is, let's see. Because the market's closed, these numbers are completely off. But let's say we wanted to do this one. Okay, we would sell puts at 7. We would get paid $22 up front, and you would get paid anywhere in between $22 and $41 per contract. And yes, you can put this somewhere in the middle, and the market's closed, but somewhere in the middle, you have a high chance of getting filled. When the market's open, it'll show that to you. And of course, you're not chasing these premiums, and there's a training and there's a course that you'll go through the moment you decide, okay, I want to learn about stock options that Patrick's done. Okay. Tonight, you got the preview. If you're already a student, you know where to be this week. Okay. If you're a guest, what I want you to do is get back to the person that invited you. Okay. Get plugged in, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you learned something here tonight. When you're new, it sounds like a different language. Even if you've been trading, when you start hearing about options, you're like, how? It sounds too good to be true. Not everything that sounds too good to be true is. Sometimes it's just a lack of awareness or a lack of education, or there's a gap. Our goal is to fill the gap because I didn't know anything that I'm talking about today at some point, but we learned it. As a human, you can learn. Most people go their whole lives in the hamster wheel, never deciding to learn something new. So, Junior, thank you so much, bro, for the invitation. We are going to get this recording posted for maybe 24 hours, and then it's going to get deleted. And I look forward to